Hello. You have achieved step one of this process, which is awareness. You have come to the conclusion that there is something within you that doesn't feel good and that you want to let go of because life is too short. And this has ignited the process of de-identifying from it. Whereas once upon a time you went around life with this unconscious belief, deciding what you were capable of, how you were able to feel, and you didn't question it. But here you are now, trying to find ways to understand and let go of things that are holding you back. And it is a very important, inseparable part of the process, which deserves congratulating. So congratulations. And to do this can require blind faith, because you're moving from what you once knew into complete uncertainty and nothingness. But this nothingness is where our entire universe was birthed. It has endless possibility because there are no parameters to define it. There is nothing that says it is this or it is that. It is pure energy and space. And when you create space, you allow the universe to live through you. When you are not constraining yourself so that the tunnel from which the source information that you are very much connected to, because you can't not be, it's just however much constraint you have put within yourself, unconsciously, there is no blame. Through your life experiences, this has happened, and I by no means ever want to victim blame or make you feel as though how you've gotten to this point was stupid, because it wasn't. It's very real, and it's all the more crucial to you coming to this place today, because you cannot be awakened without having been unconscious. The unconsciousness is what creates the knowing of letting go. And this is something maybe that your mind can't understand, because it's in another realm beyond thought, and it's a deeper knowing. But to find a deep knowing, you have to walk the path of uncertainty, of not knowing. And it's scary. It's uncomfortable. Because to get to that place where you are able to create space and let go, you must look at every aspect of yourself and the processes taking place within you. And a lot of these aren't comfortable in awareness. It's not comfortable to sit and really look, really acknowledge your own dysfunction. It can feel like a sea swallowing you whole. It's a lot. I know it's a lot, because when I did it, it was horrible at points. There was a time in my life where I genuinely thought I was going crazy and I wanted to get help for psychosis. You know, depression can be involved, anxiety, because when you're coming face to face with your anxiety, with your depression, with your negative concepts, they can almost like fight back stronger. It can feel like they're now using the new practices that you're put in place for their own agency, their own agenda. But it's okay. It's a part of it, I guess. And really, I don't think they are there any more than they were before. You're just expanding your field of awareness. You are a lot more aware of the dysfunction. And that's what makes it feel so much heavier and can make it feel so much scarier, and why it's really hard to do this. It's not just having a look at the parts of you that you love and trying to amplify those parts. It's to start to love yourself as a whole. And you are going to let go of those things that you maybe don't love. I don't want to say that, because really, love is all-encompassing. The love that you have for yourself that maybe you haven't unlocked is it doesn't judge. It's a non-judgmental love, and also it understands why you have these beliefs within you. They were defense mechanisms. They worked for you at a time in your life, but they don't work anymore. It's about knowing when it's time to move on and let go and create space for new things to come in, because there's new things awaiting you. Your life isn't the same to how it was when these beliefs were created. However, it can feel like you're repeating the same day over and over again because you're seeing the world through that same set of beliefs that's limiting you. And so you do have to go within and really take a look at yourself to be able to move through and find yourself somewhere new. And it's not comfortable, but there's no time limit. If something feels too heavy for you in a certain moment, know when it's time to say, okay, I'll take a second and I'll remember that I'm okay, I'm protected. You don't have to, there's no regime to this. It's completely unique to every single person because you have a completely unique set of beliefs and experiences and memories and thoughts that only you can really see and understand. And it takes being uncomfortable to do that. It doesn't mean when you accept discomfort, it's not going to feel comfortable. It's still going to feel uncomfortable, but it's holding the space within yourself to allow yourself to move through. And that uncomfortable feeling is there always, but it comes out in ways that are more difficult to understand, like maybe not feeling fully alive in the present. You're not having to cope with the full extent of really the weight of this uncomfortableness, but it's minimizing your quality of life in the background. So to really look at it and come face to face and feel raw fear and uncomfortableness and anger and sadness, it is the way through to feeling raw joy and release. And you are going to feel those things as well. There will be fluctuation between the two, but again, there's no time limit. And you're capable. You're meant to awaken. So it's okay. And at the start of your journey, it can feel really difficult when you're going within and you're looking at your thoughts and your beliefs to see where they're originating from, because this is a tool that you will be able to develop throughout this journey. But at the start, it can feel like smoke and mirrors. Like, for example, if you're someone with a heavy weight of guilt and you go around life with this heavy weight of guilt, but you've now come to a point where you can realize that there isn't so much truth in that, and you want to go inside and face it, and through doing so, you might come to a conclusion that you have real difficulty accepting your own mistakes. And so you don't want to push them away anymore. You don't want to push away your mistakes anymore. You want to look at them. You want to feel them. But it's so easy to slip back into guilt. And now, say you're looking at your mistakes through a very harsh lens. You want to feel them in the sense that you're making yourself take full responsibility and you're making yourself feel bad about these things. That is what I call a trap, in a sense. It's that you're trying to let go and understand your guilt, but through going deeper, it's making your guilt seem to grow and take control again. That's okay. It's just important to be able to differentiate from what is true consciousness and what is these maybe dysfunctional processes that can take control, especially if you're right at the start of your journey, because they've not gone through much of the weakening process. You're at the very beginning of doing it. Just know that you are weakening it. In every single tiny moment that you might think, what is this coming from? You're weakening it, you're questioning it, and you're learning crucial knowledge that you need for the next steps of being able to differentiate what is your ego and what is your consciousness, what is buried emotion, and what is real truth. And it is hard, and it can feel like a maze, but you've got to go through the maze. You've got to go through the maze to understand what these things are. And it's such an it's inseparable part of the process. There's no way around it. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but you are kind of built to feel uncomfortable. You can allow it, and it's important that you do so. But I want to talk about mostly some of the approaches that you can take when doing this kind of work that can save you some of the confusion and some of the not knowing. I mean, I'm basically trying to show you how to move through uncertainty and not knowing with knowledge that it's okay. And one of the first approaches that I really enjoy is, I'm gonna call it the experiment. And it's practically taking on the role of a curious scientist explorer within yourself. You can create hypotheses for what you maybe think is going on within you and go deeper to see what data you can collect, to see what you can find. And I think that this is so useful in removing that personal aspect where these traps can sort of happen, where your negative beliefs and self-concepts can get involved and deter you. Like maybe if you were someone who was really depressed and you had the belief that you're not even worthy of trying. The truth is that there is nothing about you that means that you cannot awaken. That's simply false and egoic. And we don't want to let those things deter us from moving through. That doesn't mean we are denying them to be there. It's okay that these feelings and thoughts are there, but we want to find a way to keep moving through, to not have it be a brick wall that we hit our heads on. And I think that realizing that your ego is secondary to your awareness. Your awareness is the background from which your ego is then projected. And your awareness does not take things personally, your ego does. It's the point of view that you are separate from the whole, and what happens to you is because of you. And that's the whole reason that beliefs are created in the first place. If something bad happened to me, it must have been because of something about me. I now have this belief, and it's gonna show me what's scary and what's comfortable, and that's where I'm gonna stay. But we don't want to live that life anymore, because comfort can be dangerous in that aspect. Not dangerous, but can just keep you from joy. And so it's important to be able to differentiate these, because you cannot follow the same paradigm that you unconsciously followed when these beliefs were created to create your new life. It's okay that your mind is going to attempt to. Of course it will. It's important to remain in a state of moving through and feeling, to allow yourself to then finally, at whatever point, release. And this experimental point of view, which is detached, it isn't devoid of emotion, it isn't cold. It allows you to experience without the boundaries and the definitions that it puts on you. It allows you to be the curious explorer of the experience within you, not that it is you and you have to feel guilty for it. It's like you have this escape within you that you can explore and find out things. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to feel everything. It just means that what you feel and what you find isn't a definition of you. It's like data you're collecting. And I think that's so useful for those times where looking at yourself can feel like really, really heavy and like you don't want to do it. And if that lasts for a long time and you can't get back in, just to take that new standpoint of slight detachment and curiosity, even for the horrible feelings, just like, okay, if I think about this, how does that make me feel? If I try and go get a little bit deeper, I think I might find this, but let's see if I find something else. And it's okay what you find, because it's all an experiment. It's okay. And that moves on to another approach, which is really the foundation of that approach, which is being the witness to your experience. And this is an awakened state, because you are pure consciousness fundamentally. That's what you are. And you can see and perceive and experience before you're able to judge, which is the workings of the ego and the mind, which you need to judge. You need to be able to kind of compare things and know what's right for you. But we've lost touch with the fundamental workings of our being, which is to experience without judgment, without naming. I mean, even the use of language has created a separation between us and the world around us, because instead of just experiencing, everything has a label attached to it, which makes it a lot flatter and a lot less alive. If you take away those labels, if you take away those judgments, the world is so much more alive, and you can create so much space to feel. And this is what I want you to do with your inner experience. Try to stop labeling. Try to stop making sense. Like, let's say if an emotional storm rushes over you, your mind can start worrying, like, this is too much. I can't handle this. Why is this happening? What is this feeling? Where does this come from? I don't understand. Just take a deep breath. And there is a place within you that can experience without judgment at all. It's very quiet and it's very still. And it might take some time to connect with this awakened state. I could maybe compare it to, let's say, a very adverse experience or a traumatic experience in someone's life that might be far too much to process in the moment. So you enter a state of pure aliveness, pure speechlessness, to be able to experience that moment. You're not able to judge because you've never experienced anything like it before. There's no labels, there's nothing to compare it to. It's awful, and it leaves you in complete shock. But in this new empowered state, it's your conscious choice to just experience, to just allow the experience to live inside of you without having to dissect it and make sense of it. Because really, this experience just wants to live. It has something to tell you. But it's a wordless thing to tell you, and it can be understood just by holding it there and giving it that space. The first label that we give these emotions is by labeling them as bad in the first place. And we think that they shouldn't be there, and that just magnifies them. And also, it's not going to make them not be there. We're just judging something that already doesn't feel very good. So now it's like we're splitting into two. We have this very true, raw, emotional experience, and then a mind that is judging it and doesn't want it there. So we have this tear as well as the experience in the first place. And I'll tell you something. The tear and the judgment of the experience is the real root of the suffering that it causes. If you completely allow to have an experience within you that maybe doesn't feel good physically or emotionally, but it's there and it has the space to be, it still doesn't feel great, but you feel true, and you feel a sense of alignment and a sense of honoring yourself and a sense of feeling seen, which is such a desire that maybe we deny ourselves a lot of the time, but really we all just want to feel seen, whether that's by one person, two people, however many people you wish to feel seen by and communicate with. On a fundamental level, we want to be seen. And this state within you is timeless. It's always there, and it never changes, and you can access it at any moment. And, it's not trying to achieve anything. It's not trying to achieve any sort of goal. It is just to be present with your true inner experience. Allow it to have its moment to be, and you become the vessel for it. And that is such an empowered state to be in, and it also allows emotions to leave you. when you're judging emotions and experiences, it creates a very fragmented experience within you, and like you don't allow for understanding to come in. And if you cannot understand and acknowledge your true feelings, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're gonna stay, and they're gonna become a burden for you, and they're gonna get bigger as more experience comes in that you aren't allowing yourself to truly experience and then truly release, as they're meant to release. They are meant to come and they are meant to go. It's the nature of everything in life. Everything passes. And that's another thing about being able to be the witness, is the knowledge that it's not forever. Nothing is forever. That's something that is amazing about life, and also something that scares us, is we are not forever. Anything that we have that we treasure can leave us at any moment. And that negative experience is going to leave you too. So be the witness to it. See it in all of itself. And it creates space between you and the experience. When you're judging it, it's because you're judging yourself. It's like, there's something wrong with me to have had this inside of me. But when you're the witness, it isn't you anymore. You are witnessing it because it isn't you. It's never been you. It's just about finding the space within yourself to see that. And now I want to talk about trust, because when you are deconstructing beliefs that were once woven into the truth of the life around you, and you're creating space and nothingness, it can be very difficult to trust in that. And it can really throw you off balance, because you had trust in the beliefs that you were holding on to, and it was really the trust that kept you going, not the beliefs. And so you are now in a process of creating a new kind of trust. And the one thing that I know that you can trust in is that you are meant to be here. And the reason I say that is because we are hardly ever upset or angry or fearful for the reasons that we think that we are. It's a much deeper fear or belief that projects these outward reasons. What I mean by that is maybe unwanted circumstances from the people or situations around you outside of yourself. They are born from the problems that you have with yourself. And when things feel really, really wrong in our lives, it's because we are denying ourselves. We have some sort of issue with the fact that we're existing, and that is the ego. The ego has an issue with itself, which is why it craves validation from others or attempts to enlarge itself through material possessions or the judgment of others. It's struggling to find a reason for its own existence. But the ego is only one small part of you. The consciousness within you has absolutely no reason to ever doubt itself, because you're meant to be here. You're meant to be here because you are here. It's as simple as that. It's not because of your looks, your success, your personality, your smarts. You're meant to be here because you are here right now. You are not inseparable from everything else that is here. It is just what is. There is no reason to struggle with or argue with what is. It is only the mind that is capable of doing that, because it is capable of comparing and fragmenting. Underneath that, there is no judgment. And if you are not able to trust in your own existence, if your mind won't allow you, try to pay attention to how your breath flows in and out, how the ground effortlessly holds you up, because it's easy for you to be here, really, because you're meant to be here. Life breathes itself into you. You are life. You are inseparable from life. And no matter what experience is happening inside of you, no matter what feelings you have inside of you, you're meant to be here in every single moment, and you're meant to experience it. And to be able to trust in your own existence will create such a vast amount of joy and space in your life, because it means that you are internally validated. It simultaneously creates a disidentification from form, which is the world around you, the circumstances in your life, the people in your life. They are not the reasons for your being here. You are the reasons for your being here. And it's a radically different form of trust, so it can take time, because it is not dependent on anything outside of yourself. It is a culmination of trust itself. It is to trust in trust. Just like how we fear our own fear a lot of the time, now is the time to trust in trust. And it will change everything. And it provides you with the strength you need, and that little bit of a light in the tunnel when you step into nothingness, of the fact that you're meant to be here and you're meant to experience, and you can look within yourself and deconstruct, because it isn't even your true self. And your true self knows this and trusts this. But it can take time and it can be unstable. But it's okay. It's a process. And you don't need to be perfect to feel this. It's not earned. It's the hum of the universe. And it's in your cells. This trust and this love. This is the true self-love. It isn't based on anything about you. It is you. And this closeness with self is beyond what most can even imagine in a world very highly led by the human ego. So it can take time, but it's there. And as you weaken these beliefs that you have and the trust that you once had in your self-concept and the things in your life that are controlling the trajectory, you can open up this door of a new trust, one that will feel so closely true to who you are. To deconstruct your beliefs is to walk the path of truth, to know that there is nothing that defines you, even as you culminate new beliefs about yourself. It's still a tool, it is still not you. You are wordless. You are beyond thought. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself. That is what you are. How could you not be? You created from everything. You were created inside of a star 1 billion friggin' years ago. And you are inseparable and yet conscious of yourself. It is a magical thing. But it can lead us astray when we forget the foundations from which our consciousness was birthed. But you can find it again because it's within you and will never be taken away from you. And to walk the path of uncertainty into nothingness is to surrender to life. It is to let the universe take control, because you are the universe. It is to let your ego take a little backseat, because to evolve as beings, that's the road that we need to be on. And yes, I hope this has been helpful. And I love you all, whoever is watching this. And thank you so much for watching. And just remember that everything that you feel is okay. You're meant to feel, you're built to feel. All you need to do is allow. That's all you need to do. This journey isn't about exerting so much effort. It's about allowing. Stop struggling with yourself. Allow yourself to be in your truth and see it completely. All we ever crave is the need to be seen. It is the moments where we feel unseen that we create the beliefs that we have. So now is the time to see yourself, and you can wholly see yourself and feel completely whole in that. Nothing is missing from that. You don't need anybody else to understand, because you understand it on a much deeper level that others simply couldn't. It's not their job to. It's not within their life journey. It's within yours. And it is the number one priority always. And when you come to peace with yourself and you create space, your life will transform around you without you having to try. And that is my message for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.